Welcome to Dubby. When you first turn on your device, Dubby will start in the performance page. In the performance page, you can see each of the parameters of the algorithm you've loaded and the corresponding hardware input that you're using to control it. You can use the joystick, the switch, the sliders or buttons or whatever side panels you have connected, and you can control your algorithm. In order to change the mappings, we can switch the window by holding down the encoder and then going through past the LFO into the parameter mapping section. In the parameter mapping section, I scroll to the parameter I want to map, for example, delay time. I click the encoder and I scroll over to control, click again, and then whichever hardware control I touch now, it's going to map it to this parameter. So now knob 1 is controlling the delay time with a minimum value of 0 and a maximum value of 1000. If I want to change this, I can scroll in and I can set the minimum value to be something like 1982 or 19.82, and the max value, why, let's go a little bit higher. And as you can see, there's acceleration on the encoder. 4040 is my jam. And if I go back and view the value, I can now see that the knob goes from 19 to 4040. And to get even further control, I can change the curvature from linear to logarithmic to exponential to sigmoid. If I leave it on sigmoid and go back and view the value, check out what it is now in the middle position at 12 o'clock, 2300 almost. And then the way it behaves when I scroll through from the minimum value to the maximum value, it will behave according to the curve I've set. Let's change it to logarithmic and see what the middle value is now. 3000. And then when I go down, we're going to have a steep increase from the bottom and up, and slow at the end. Great. When I'm done mapping this value, I scroll all the way to the left and I can go down and set the feedback of the delay. And I want this to be controlled by the joystick Y value. I could also go in here and scroll through all the parameters that I have. Joystick X, joystick Y, or the joystick switch. I'll leave it on joystick Y. And then exiting the parameter window and going back to the performance window, you can now see that I actually have a macro because knob 1 is controlling multiple parameters and the joystick as well is controlling multiple parameters. Dubby features a dual mappable LFO. You can select between different waveforms like sine wave, triangle wave, saw, ramp, and square. Let's start with the square and go down and turn up the amount. To map it, I go down here and I have access to all the parameters of the algorithm I have right now. Let's take the time reverb and set the rate up. I can now engage my second LFO. Let's keep that in sine wave. Have it go real slow and then up the amount a bit. Great, and I want this to control the delay time as well. So now I've breathed in a bit of life to my algorithm. Dubby also features a scope, which lets you visualize the audio coming into the device. There's a routing page where you have a matrix and we can select what input goes to what output. So in this case, input 1 and 2 are passed through to output 1 and 2. I could also change this so that they would have the effect on, like so. And if I wanted to also send output 1 and 2 out to 3 and 4 as a pass-through to use it in a more advanced chain, I could do it like this. And I could also send out the effect of input 3 and 4 out of output 4. So you can choose however you want your routing to be in this matrix. Lastly, we have the MIDI configuration page. And in here, I can say if Dubby should be the MIDI clock leader, or the follower. When Dubby is the follower, it will get the BPM automatically. And in leader mode, I can go to set the BPM myself. I can turn MIDI in, on and off. I can set the channel. I can turn MIDI out, on and off, and also set the channel. And lastly, we have a MIDI through out relay where you can change whether the output of Dubby should be MIDI out or MIDI through. It has a very nice click. That's it. Enjoy having fun and playing music with Dubby.